We might be too young to have a spotted cow, but we are both diehard Packers fans.
I could talk about this for hours.
He was my legend. He was my quarterback one. Taysom Hill, forever in my heart.
We have a kind of a reputation of being the young and diehard fans. How is that, Dr. Pepper Taysom?
Amazing.
Okay, good. Let's keep it under 25 minutes, all right?
It is a beautiful day, like always, like all 365 days of the year, to be a Green Bay Packers fan, as they are 6-1. They got their latest win against the Washington football team, and me and Big B are ready back for another week to talk some Green Bay Packers football. Big B, how you feeling on this Tuesday or Wednesday evening?
Oh man, the positive vibes are through the roof. Like our good friend Tyler always says, let's go.
Yes, they truly are. And, we got a lot to talk about today, for the good or for the worse. But either way, we got quite an eventful next 2 or 3 days ahead of us, as the Packers will look to take on the Arizona Cardinals, the undefeated, the best team in the league, Arizona Cardinals, with MVP candidate. Nope. I'm not going to throw that out there. I'm not going to throw out MVP candidate in week 8. Not allowed. One of the top quarterbacks in the league right now with his performances, Kyler Murray, and a buttload of offensive weapons for Cliff Kingsbury. So we'll go full in depth to that Arizona Cardinals game in a little bit there. But first, we got to talk about Packers game against Washington. Then we'll head into unfortunate news coming out of Green Bay this week. And then we'll head into that preview against Arizona. So let's head into it. First, Washington, week 7. The Packers 24-10. And the first thing I want to talk about, Big B, it is number 52, Rashawn Gary. Number 52, not the one on my post right here, Clay Matthews. But Rashawn Gary is looking like the second coming of Clay Matthews right now. He deserves to rep that 52 number after last week's performance. And, if you've been watching, paying attention, you could tell really if you've been watching since last year, you could tell a game like this was going to be coming from Rashawn Gary, and we can see much more of that down the line. And, of course, like the only week where I don't say Rashawn Gary is about to go off, Rashawn Gary goes off with a total of 2 sacks and much more quarterback pressures. Big B, what were your overall thoughts on Rashawn's performance?
Yeah, I feel like, again, he's getting better and better each game, just like the entire defense as a whole. Like, very excited for Rashawn Gary. But, I thought he was a bust. Like people are saying a few years ago, I just thought he was a bust. But now he is the second coming of the man right behind your shoulder, Clay Matthews.
So wait, you were on the Rashawn Gary's a bus train?
Oh, no, I'm just saying.
You're just...
I absolutely love the Rashawn Gary pick right when it happened. I feel like I was the only one who was like jumping around in my room with full excitement when that pick was made.
Yeah, that pick was certainly maybe not unexpected, but the Packers had a lot of options at pick number 12. Yes. It was their first time in quite a while being able to pick really past the 20th or ahead of the 20th overall pick. So last year, the year before that, in 2018, they picked up Jair Alexander and traded down. But then at the 12th overall pick, their highest pick since AJ Hawk, they go out here. They could have got Noah Fant to tight end, who they needed desperately at the time. Plenty of other options. I really liked Cody Ford, an offensive lineman, but they got their offensive lineman in the second round, and then they got their pass rusher at the 12th overall pick. And he's had quite a career path in Green Bay, and it's so exciting to finally see some things heat up and turn into some great results. Next up, we got another great performance from, like you mentioned, the defensive side of the ball. 4 defensive stops, baby, and that is so. Because, the touchdown they scored early on in the game, a 40-yard pass over Eric Stokes to Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, Uh, so they get that touchdown early on. Wasn't in the red zone. They got a field goal, which was in the red zone. But other than that, the other 3 times either fumbled, turnover to Chandon Sullivan, or something, or a turnover on downs on the QB sneak that didn't go in for a touchdown. So Packers defense, the stats don't tell the whole story there. But all that matters is before that game, they came in 15 for 15 on allowed touchdowns in the red zone, and they left Lambeau Field that day 15 out of 19, baby. Let's hear it for the red zone defense.
Let's go, sir.
Joe Barry with his masterminds, man.
Yes, love it.
So, some great stuff from Washington game, some not so good stuff. We'll leave the bad stuff for last because I still have one good point I want to bring up. Robert Tonyan and Alan Lazard finally getting some involvement in this Packers offense. Alan Lazard, before the second half, we got a 2-minute drill. And let me just touch on this. The 2-minute drill last year was absolutely atrocious, at least for the first half of that season, until Aaron Rodgers got some explosive plays to MVS against the Colts. Before that, and even past that point, the 2-minute offense was just like so confusing, so infuriating to watch. If you pulled up some of those tapes of what they did in those first few weeks, and early onward from that too, it is hard to watch of them trying to put together a quick 2-minute drive before the end of the half. But this week they get one going. They have Alan Lazard get 5 receptions for 63 yards and then end it off with a touchdown. So that's great to see. And then also Robert Tonyan, who hasn't been getting much looks lately, or really, I think he might have the same amount of receptions as last year at this point, or last 7 games, whatever. But none of them were really in the red zone like so many of them were like last year. But now he's getting more than checkdowns, at least in this week, and who's able to get his first touchdown with Aaron Rodgers. So that's fun to see.
And I also, before we move on to the bad stuff, because I know we're moving on to that next, I want to give a shout out to my boy, Dean Lowry, 2nd week in a row, 3rd week in a row, playing like an absolute monster. Big shout out to Dean Lowry. I think he had like 1.5 sacks or something. The man is impressing everyone. Love the story that Aaron Rodgers told. I think his presser today about Dean Lowry. So shout out to Dean Lowry. The dude's a beast. I am on the Dean Lowry bandwagon train or whatever that thing is called. Choo choo. Let's go.
I think you and I might be the conductors of that train, or at least still people are going to let their bias play into their evaluations of Dean Lowry just because of his poor play in the past, or just because he was a body. He didn't really do much. He was just a body that was filling in snaps at defensive end. But now he's actually playing some decent football to start this season off. So Dean Lowry, the Rhino. Hope we can see that continue.
Oh yes.
Now, just one bad thing I wanted to bring up. There's some good, there's some bad from this game, like there has been with most of these few games to start the 2021 season, just because of the multitude of injuries the Green Bay Packers have had. But one thing that can be controlled, and we have been demanding every single week because we know more than the Packers head coach, I can assure you that, is why does Matt LaFleur refuse to run the ball so often?
Oh, I'm glad you brought this one up. Oh,
I don't get it. The offensive play calling sometimes in some situations, situational play calling on 3rd and long specifically, going empty back sets, no motion or anything, just Aaron Rodgers looking 30 yards down the field is bizarre enough. Okay, but take that away from it. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon only having a combined 9 carries last week. Come on, Matt. We paid Aaron Jones a 4-year contract for a reason. We drafted A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round for a reason. they're great football players. When they've gotten their chance to win the game for the Packers, they've done great. And I get it, man. Aaron Rodgers is not playing bad football by any definition of the word. Any, be deluded. You'd be out of your mind to say that Aaron Rodgers is playing bad football at this moment. Anything like 2019, 2018, whatever. I get that. But can we just run the ball more than 9 times? Is that too much of an ask? And I get A.J. Dillon put the ball on the ground 2 times. Doesn't even have to be that. Just the running back duo in general, only getting 9 carries is pretty bad to see.
Yeah, man. I don't understand why we can't just run the football. I mean, I understand it wasn't working, but at least try to stick with it. Yep. They're gonna have to run the football this week versus Arizona. Like, they're gonna have to.
For sure.
And I feel like we just can't have Aaron Rodgers throwing it 35 times every single week. I just don't think that's smart. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and what seems like a preposterous suggestion that Aaron Rodgers is maybe not demanding when I'm putting in that sense. That seems more of a thing for Ty Dunn to write. But really saying when he gets back, you better put me in empty sets and let me throw the ball around the field. That's possibly something that Aaron Rodgers requested more opportunities to stat pad, whatever, for Aaron Rodgers in these constant empty sets on situations, not only 3rd and down where it doesn't make sense, but also on 2nd and 10, 2nd and mid, whatever, 2nd down, not to run the ball and make it 3rd and short. Beyond me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Any other thoughts you wanted to add about this Washington game, Big B?
Just very excited to see Robert Tonyan finally have a big game after his rough start to the year. Not that Robert Tonyan performances like last year we haven't seen so far this year, and Alan Lazard finally getting paid for his great blocking with some touchdowns.
For sure. And I love to see, by the way, on Alan Lazard, just in general, the people realizing now how, I guess maybe not realizing wouldn't be the correct term, but him, Mercedes Lewis, Marquez Valdez-Scantling finally getting the praise they deserve, not only from Packers fans, but I've seen it elsewhere too. Finally getting the praise they deserve for helping out in the run game. So that's fantastic to see.
And it's great to see Big Dog finally getting involved with the offense. He had 3-4 catches this week.
Right.
And I think I think I saw that he was like the highest graded player by PFF on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Like, give me all the Big Dog, please. Like, that's the only way I'm going to get hype if I see Big Dog every single play this Thursday.
Yeah. I've been having some conflicting thoughts about Pro Football Focus and really just trying to construct my overall opinions about them lately because, we cite them on the show every so often. I love some of their work, the data they provide, but at the same time, I religiously understand what Aaron Rodgers means, what he said in his press conference last week by what he said. The quote was, well, I'm not sure about stats because you can use them, manipulate them to promote any message you want. So, and that's pretty much the brand of Pro Football Focus. But at the same time, if they're gonna use Mercedes Lewis, if they're gonna say Devondre Campbell is doing really good, if they're gonna say Mercedes Lewis is doing really good, I'm all for them.
Yeah, and then you can also look at the other side of it, and they have Rasul Douglas being like one of the worst graded players on the defensive side, and he has played phenomenal so far, I think. In his 3 games that he's played as a Packer. Like, I think he's been very, very good for just coming in, stepping into his role on the defense.
Yeah, and that's kind of where PFF has its weakness, I guess, because, and I don't know exactly how they evaluate. I'm sure they just have some guy like Andy Herman does every week, just watch the game over, and they have somebody assigned to every game. Okay, grade this play, and they have to watch it 3 or 4 times. But there's definitely some things like Rasul Douglas where He's allowing these receptions, but him and the secondary as a whole is playing with their head on fire, especially Douglas. You can watch him every play. Doesn't even have to be the all 22 film. And he is right there as soon. He's just chasing the ball, So,
Yeah.
like you said, Rasul Douglas playing a great game. And,
Okay. Now I just remembered something that I was
Oh, no.
so furious about during Washington. I know we want to get on to Arizona and stuff, but oh my God, that pass interference call on Rasul Douglas. I literally almost threw my TV out the window. That was a horrendous call. I don't understand what they were looking at. I could tell that wasn't even pass interference. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, that just got me so pissed off. Go on.
Okay. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you there. That was a bad call. Whoever wide receiver he was on pretty much runs into him. And then on the actual, when the pass is thrown to said receiver and Douglas is recovering him, that's just nothing but great defense.
Yeah.
And that was on a 3rd down too. Would have been a great stop for Rasul. So, yeah.
And I think the next play was that 48-yard touchdown to Terry McLaurin. That even makes it worse because the Packers should have been off the field. But no, because the refs are trash. That's why.
That's painful to know that McLaurin detail now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that was what happened. I might be wrong, but
it's whatever. Okay. Now, either way, it's a bad call.
Yes.
Now, after we've got our PFF rants out of the way, we got our pass interference rants out of the way. I would like to talk more about the refs, but that's for another time, another day. Because really, maybe it's not for another time. Just one quick point here. The calls are bad enough, but that's to be expected with every single referee and every single professional sport. Okay, and we're always going to feel the Packers get cheated, just like every other NFL team and every other professional sports team. It's going to feel their team got cheated at some point by the refs. But overall, outside of that, the game management from these referees is absurd.
Yes.
The 5-minute review on the fumble that squeezed past Darnell Savage's outside of his stomach, that's ridiculous. A 5-minute review. And then the constant, and it was so bad against the Bears last week. The constant, okay, we got a flag. Now we got to wait for all these Jimmies to huddle up and talk about it. Well, who threw the flag? Well, I don't know. Well, what did you see? Why do you care what Jim saw? He was on the other end of the field. I'm the one behind the snap who called false start.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get this. Why are they in their position and then they got to converse? Shouldn't the guy behind the line be specialized in calling certain types of penalties, seeing what he sees, and his opinion should be valued over X guy who's on the sideline? I don't know what they're talking about. I wish I did. I wish we had a mic'd up ref edition. It's just hard to watch the NFL officiating try to manage a game with these constant stoppages of play. Now to some less happy times news. Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard have been placed on the COVID-19 list. And doesn't look like Devontae's going to be coming back because, as far as now, we haven't seen any signs of a negative test from Devontae. If he was going to be eligible even after testing positive and being placed on the list yesterday or on Monday, he would have had to receive 2 negative tests in a row on Tuesday and then Wednesday. Looks like that's not going to happen. Devontae Adams, he can pretty much pencil it in. I would go to the point, Sharpie it in, that he will be out against Arizona. And then Allen Lazard.
Aaron didn't sound confident today in his presser or during Pat McAfee. It just sounded like he was pretty much dying on his couch. So hopefully, well, I probably should say that. But prayers to Devontae. Hopefully he gets better. Hopefully his family is okay. His daughter and everything.
For sure, yeah. And then Alan Lazard is also for sure out, as he was listed as a close contact, so he will be out for the next 5 days. And this is just really unfortunate to happen on a Thursday shortened week.
Yep.
Man, the same thing happened to the Packers last week. Was this the week that Jamal Williams got placed on the COVID list when they were playing the 49ers on Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for sure that week because we were like, Aaron Jones was injured. So AJ Dillon and Jamal were on the COVID list. So who did they throw out at running back that week?
I think Dylan. No, because Dylan was.
Yeah,
Probably Dexter.
Dexter had to be Dexter, and couldn't be Patrick. Dexter Williams and Mike Weber, maybe.
Probably.
That's crazy.
I want to say Trey Carson, but I think that was 2019.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Christy Michael.
Oh Lord.
That's kind of just like what I was doing when we were drafting up the script for this episode. I was thinking of Arizona Cardinals running backs from 2017 and 18. But so yeah, that's besides the point. But main point I'm making there is last week when they were scheduled to play on Thursday, the Packers also had some issues with COVID. And here we are again. The 49ers also had a ton of injuries, and also their whole wide receiver room was pretty much on the COVID list. So it was pretty crazy that they ended up playing that game on Thursday instead of just pushing it back 2 or 3 days. But, the NFL, they got to get that primetime money.
Oh, yeah.
No matter who the teams are on Thursday night, it's going to be a big money maker for them. Like the Panthers and the Texans a few weeks ago was literally still the highest rated show or highest viewed show on TV for that whole entire week.
Crazy.
That's insane. But anyways, Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard out. Also, Joe Barry, defense coordinator, is out with COVID, and the protocols rules are different with coaches. So he has been able to be on meetings virtually all week, and that has also forced the whole coaching staff for safety to conduct all of their meetings virtually. So there's that. I hope that they got like one of those like kind of sci-fi future things that you see in TV shows or movies where like it's not that futuristic. Maybe they already have these and it's possible, but like they got a little stand and he's almost like a robot and they're just FaceTiming him on an iPad or an iPad. And he can he has controls that he can move around on and he can just go throughout the facility, say, "Oh, hi, Mike. How's that wrist healing?"
Kind of like on Modern Family, right?
Exactly. On that, where somebody's graduation and Phil wasn't sick, but he had he's on vacation. Yeah, we haven't dissected fully our love for Modern Family together, so we definitely need to do that at some point.
Oh boy, that's off season.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have a whole episode this offseason where we just talk about Modern Family, so get ready for that.
Oh Lord.
And we'll incorporate football into it when we talk about the Peyton Manning cameo. Finally, God, let's just talk about the Arizona Cardinals as much as we want to avoid it. First, Kyler Murray, doing great this season. He's doing even better than last year. He's putting some things together with the offensive mastermind with Cliff Kingsbury. And, this game for me really isn't as much. Well, obviously, I want to move on to 7-1. I want to get this win. But the perception of what this will mean for the Packers around the NFL, I think, holds quite a lot of value. Well, maybe not a lot of value, but it means a lot if they can go into Arizona on a shortened week without so many starters. Jair Alexander, Devontae Adams. I mean, that's who most people think outside of Aaron Rodgers or the players this team relies on. So if they can go into Arizona with not only those two guys out, but plenty of others, and get this win against Tyler Murray, J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, DeAndre Hopkins, the newly acquired Zach Ertz, that would be pretty insane.
That would be.
And maybe I'm making it sound too much like I have doubts. I don't think, I I'm not thinking that Devontae Adams and Al Lazard being out makes this game any easier than it already was going to be hard. But I still feel that the Packers offense and the Packers defense has the tools they need to win this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be more difficult, but they got Aaron Jones. They got A.J. Dillon. And we've seen so many times Packers are undefeated without Devontae Adams in the Matt Fleur era. It always seems that Devontae has to miss few games early on in the season. This time it wasn't because of injury. Odd circumstance this year, but they're undefeated without him, and that has mostly been due to the great Aaron Jones on offense. It's going to be a big week for him, and really all three of those running backs. Hopefully they finally rely on the running game, and A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, Kylan Hill are ready to rumble.
Yes, sir.
You know, I get all my data, or at least most of this data, on opposing teams, and especially this week, because I didn't have time to do much research or anything. I literally get data and facts on these teams by just looking up Cardinals versus Packers preview, and then I go to Arizona Cardinals football channels. It could be somebody as wonky and unprofessional as us just talking about the game, or it could be the Locked On Network, whatever. But I'll just literally watch those YouTube videos, see what their fans think, okay? And that's how I gather my information about the team. And here's a few things that I picked up on just watching those videos. That their offensive line, it seems to be kind of a weak point for them. And especially offensive tackle Josh Jones, second-year offensive tackle on the starting offensive line, had a really bad game against the Houston Texans.
Wait, did you just say Josh Jones?
Josh Jones, not the safety.
Not the
but
safety.
offensive tackle
Okay.
from
All
Miami.
right.
Yeah, or Houston.
Oh, boy.
It's drafted in the third round, even though he's projected to go in the first round, whatever. But
Oof.
Josh Jones has been struggling, along with some other young pieces along that offensive line. They do have veteran Rodney Hudson, but outside of that, they have some weak points. Also, they struggle just in the first quarter, just like the Green Bay Packers do on offense. So, and one of the guys said, hopefully the Cardinals can end their streak of starting off slow, because if they don't start off fast, then Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are probably going to already have 21 points on the board in the second quarter. I'm like, buddy, no, I don't think that's going to happen. You know, if the Packers get 14 points in the first quarter, that's a massive win for them. But maybe this first quarter might turn out to be boring between two teams who seem to struggle, apparently, to start off quick. But after that, they go off guns a-blazing on the offensive side of the ball. So that will be certainly something to watch. And that first quarter, I think it's going to be so important to blitz the heck out of Kyler Murray, get him flustered, throw his whole game off. So he, throughout the rest of the game, he's kind of off platform and just trying to escape the pocket after hopefully a rough and tough first quarter for him. Big B, any thoughts on this Cardinals team?
Oh my, you just gave me a whole freaking notebook full of answers there. Glad you do research. All right, so pretty much what I gathered from that was pretty much Cardinals offensive line not looking too hot, or not sounding like too hot. Going to be important, like you said, to get Kyler flustered in the first quarter. Kenny Clark's going to have a very tough matchup going up against a all-pro center in Rodney Hudson, but I'll take Kenny Clark every day of the week, though. Dean Lowry is going to have to step up. Kingsley Kiki's going to have to step up. Preston, if he plays, and Rashawn Gary are going to have to contain those edges, not let Kyler Murray get outside, extend plays, just like another guy that we know does that very, very well.
Yep.
And then going to have to somehow try to stop DeAndre Hopkins, just as good as Devontae Adams can really wreck a game.
Mm-hmm.
And they have AJ Green, Zach Ertz. They have Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore. Have all the weapons in the world, looking like 2011 Green Bay Packers team. I think that's a very good comparison.
Yes,
And go ahead.
I love that you mentioned that 2011 team because I was just thinking how exciting of a game this would be for the 2021 Cardinals to go up against the 2011, 2014 Packers with Aaron Rodgers, who could really extend plays back then. That would just be so exciting. But continue.
Yep. And then on the offensive side of the Packers, we still have Randall Cobb. I have not seen like anybody mention we still have Randall Cobb on for wide receivers. I don't know why nobody's mentioning that. Seems like he's getting forgotten, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know, but still have Randall Cobb, still have somebody who Aaron Rodgers trusts, but then we have freaking Walmart employees going out there running on the field. And then Aaron Jones is going to have to be a big part of this game as a wide receiver, as a blocker, as a running back, if he gets touches, because clearly didn't do that last week. And Aaron Jones is going to have a massive, massive game. He has had a massive game, feels like every time Devontae Adams out. Aaron Jones is going to have to be the offense. The offense is going to have to run through Aaron Jones this game if they want even a chance to win this game.
Yes, very well summarized there. And I think what this game really comes down to, it's so cliche, and it's said it every week. You can go to just about every single game, and you will find somebody saying, this game's going to be won in the trenches, folks. But
all them old heads out there saying that every week.
That's a classic old head quote. But this game against the Cardinals, I think, is going to be won in the trenches because of the Packers' offensive line going up against two great pass rushers, probably two top 10 pass rushers, I would say. If we're talking 2016, then definitely the two top 10 pass rushers in the league in Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. And then for the Packers side of the ball, hopefully stepping things up, Dean Lowry, Kingsley, he continuing to build off of their success that they've had on so far. Kenny Clark having to control things in the middle. And like you mentioned, it's going to be such a big difference if Preston Smith and Kevin King can play in this game. I think because Kevin was a game time decision even this past week, or was very close to playing, and the same thing with Preston, I think they'll be good to go, and I really hope to do, because like you mentioned, they have so many weapons on that offensive side of the ball. I have confidence in Eric Stokes. I don't know if I have confidence in him to contain DeAndre Hopkins, not let him score at least 2 or 3 touchdowns. So having Keenan there, I don't know if Jair is even on the possible timetable to return this week.
No.
But having Keenan there to control things, hopefully Amos Savage can help out Stokes on Hopkins, and I'm sure it'll be matchup things, who they like better on Hopkins, Bateman, Green, between Stokes and Keene, and then Douglas as well. So that secondary for the Packers is going to have a tough challenge ahead of them. And then the Packers, obviously, to outscore this firing Cardinals offense without Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard on their side of the ball. But overall, there's reasons to have faith in this Packers team too. Looks like would be pulling an upset against the home team Cardinals this week.
Yeah, and touch a little bit on DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is gonna get his. Like, there's no way we can stop DeAndre Hopkins. He's just that good. English is hard. He's just that good. Like, you can't contain him. You can only just try to minimize the potential targets. But he is definitely going to get his opportunities and definitely going to get his touchdowns probably.
For sure. Packers Twitter is going to be a very toxic environment during this game. Overreactions galore. People are going to be turning their TVs off after the first drive. But game where you got to stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
And really, if it's tense, that's probably a good thing for the Packers. But Big B, what are you thinking I know you're going to say they're win, just like I am every week. But what are your score predictions for the Packers in this game? And then give us a player who you think is a X factor.
All right. My score prediction is going to be 42-38 Packers win. I feel like that's literally the only way we're going to win is if we outscore Arizona. So 42-38
that's true.
Packers win. And my
I think
X
it's
factor,
kind of important to score more points than the opponent to win the game.
yeah,
I'll stop being a smart aleck, and you go with your X factor.
my X factor, oh man, this is actually kind of tough. I'm gonna say Robert Tunyon, actually. I know it's not some unsung hero type player, some like who should I say, Shamar Jean Charles type player.
Yeah.
But Robert Tunyon is just another guy who Aaron Rodgers trusts, another guy I expect the ball to be thrown to a lot, especially with Devontae to be out. And hopefully he stacks more successes on top of that big performance he had versus Washington last week.
Yes, that trust thing you mentioned with Tunyon and Randall Cobb is going to be so important in this game, considering Aaron Rodgers is going to be going out there with EQ and Malik Taylor getting quite a bit of snaps this week. So, and then outside of that, it's Amari Rodgers and maybe Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So Cobb, Tunyon, maybe Scantling if he gets activated in time. That's going to be so important for them to have that trust with Aaron Rodgers. My score prediction, completely agree with you. It's going to have to be a shootout for the Packers to pull out with a win here. And I am going to say maybe a little less scoring and 35-33 Packers.
Ooh,
get the win. A very, very close one.
Jeez, my heart's already stopping just thinking about it. Oh my God.
I'm already standing out of my seat. But that's all we got for you today on the Underage Packers podcast. Let us know your thoughts on all the things we chatted about today here on episode 85 on the Underage Packers podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, folks. We really appreciate all the support you give us every single week of the NFL season. Any final words, final go Pack goes you want to give people, Bigby?
Jamal Williams is still the GOAT, and go Pack go.
Go Pack go. We'll talk to you later, folks.